Illustrator is a great application for creating fully scalable vector art, meaning that you can increase or decrease the images the drawings that you create in Illustrator without any loss of resolution. I'm going to go over some of the basic tools in Adobe Illustrator. We have these two arrows up here. One is the selection tool, one is the direct selection tool, and I'll show you the differences in a second. We're going to start off with the pen tool, and if you just start clicking around, you can create dots, anchor points they're called, and you can create shapes with this, and you're going to have to end it. The direct selection tool allows you to select any of these dots that you created, the points that you created, and you can modify or morph the shape so you can further refine it. So you don't have to be perfect the first time. You can just modify these points, and that will affect the shape. The other tool that I wanted to go over is the line tool. And when you're selecting these tools, you have to pay attention to the color palette down here. One is the fill color, one is the line color. When I select the line, I'm going to notice that the line color is black. If I hold the shift key down, that line is going to go perfectly straight across the screen, or if I move the mouse, I can go down at a 90 or at a 45. When I let go, that goes from point to point. Notice that there is no fill because it's a line. If I want to make that line thicker, you would have to go up to the word stroke and select a thicker point value. That's how you change the thickness of the line. If I'm going to go over to this tool right here, we have the rectangle, we have the oval, the ellipse, and polygon. I'm going to start with a rectangle. I'm going to do a rectangle shape. Notice that the line thickness, the stroke, remain the same from the line here. If I want to go back, I can change that, make it a little thinner. If I select go up here, select the selection tool, notice that there are little handles in the corners here. All you have to do is drag one of them, and you can change the radius of the corner on the corners, and it does all four on the shapes. You can still resize it. You can still move it around, and if you still want to define it further, you can still play with it to further refine it. So that's how to change the radius on shapes. I'm going to change this to the polygon tool, and I'm going to just create a regular shape here, polygon. I'm going to bring that over here. And if you want to modify some of these shapes further, I'm going to have this still selected. Go up to the word effect and go down where it says, if we can find it here, the distort and transform. And then you're going to go over where it says pucker and bloat. A dialog box pops up. Make sure you have the preview selected so you can see the changes that you're making. You can modify this shape by moving the slider. So I can make it kind of a funky looking star there. If I go the other direction, it kind of looks like a flower. If you click OK, you can still, now notice that the original polygon shape is still highlighted or indicated here. That's the radius for the flower itself. We added an effect of a pucker and bloat by changing the shape of that polygon tool, the polygon shape rather. We can still resize it. We can actually skew it. If I hold the shift key down, that's going to size it proportionately. And then we can move that over here. I can take this line, I can modify the line too. I can take this and I can, again, hold on the shift key. That's perfectly straight. Then I can bring it into view here. And there's a flower. If I wanted to make the flower pot, make this shape a little bit smaller here. And we're going to move this over. And we can fill this with a color. There it is. So there's our flower pot with the flower in it. And again, we can change the flower itself too, change that color, the fill color. But those are some very, very basic techniques using Illustrator to create shapes, to modify the shapes, to change the radius of the corners, to fill the shapes. One thing I didn't go over is the text tool. That's pretty self-explanatory. It's very similar to any of the other Adobe applications. Just simply selecting the text tool, you can type and you can change that. You can also arc the text, the type. Notice the little handles on these icons. If you right-click on that and select Type on a Path tool, we can create shapes. Let's change this to an ellipse here. I'm holding down this shape here. Select that text tool to type on a path. If I click here, notice what happens to the text. It automatically curves to that shape. We can then increase the text, and then it would appear as if it's, well, it will be on that shape and following the path of that circle.